like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, even your year. I'll be there for you when the rain starts to pour. I'll be there for you like I've been there before. I'll be there for you 'cause I'm there for you too.
Now that's retro.
Oh, I don't know where we're going now. We don't want to go there. Oh, let me put y'all back out so I can see everybody. Let's stop my screen. Okay. Yeah, that was a little retro, wasn't it? A lot of fun. I think with my headphones, y'all can hear me better. I don't break up much. So this Thursday morning is the fourth day of our retreat. I hope you guys have enjoyed the sessions that you've had so far. We've had a lot of participation on our coffee chats. There's been about 50 people every day, so that's awesome. We've also had some really good participation in our Remind training, so it's been great to see you guys in person. And hopefully that's helped you guys feel more comfortable as we get started with Remind coming up in the next couple of weeks. I do still have some parents reaching out to me just to let me know that they found the letters that their students got a month ago. And so they don't know if it's too late to sign up. So hopefully we're going to have some more of that the parents are going to get involved to make sure their kids get signed up and are in there on Remind for your classes. The silent auction we talked about just for a brief minute. Remember, it closes at 7 o'clock tonight, so you might want to be on there between 6:30 and 7 to do those last minute bids to make sure you win your items. You won't be able to elbow people out of the way, but you can click quickly. So make sure you're on there. I think we're up to around $1,900 just on the silent auction. So that's exciting. I'm sure that number will go up some more tonight as we get those last minute bids and some of y'all come in at the end and try to win things like Grady Franklin's planning to do. There's also a donate button on there. So when you get to the main page, you can go to the bottom of that and just donate if you don't want to buy anything. Just so remember that all of the funds go to our student fund or your student funds at the schools that you guys raise money for. So we're excited about that. And we think this process has gone pretty smoothly this year. Sort of like the online system. So we'll see how this goes towards the end. We will be.
Monica?
Yes.
If I could interrupt for just a minute, in keeping with the spirit of camaraderie among mentors, I would like to mention that my brother Mark, who is in on this coffee chat, today is his birthday.
Oh, Mark, where's Mark?
Happy birthday,
Mark. Maybe we should all sing happy birthday to Mark.
Yeah.
You want to sing happy birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't start it. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
Mark.
Happy birthday to you.
That might be the worst version of happy birthday ever. Mark, it will be memorable.
That was the most memorable happy birthday.
And
Happy birthday.
and it's recorded, so it will be there forever. Because I hit the record button. All right. But anyway, tomorrow we will be here at East with all of your items. So tonight you'll be able to check right after 7 o'clock to see which items you won. Online, you can either pay online or you can pay tomorrow when you come pick up your items. We will be here from 4 to 6 out front, ready to meet you at your car and give you your items. So drop by tomorrow night. If you can't come tomorrow night, let us know and we'll rearrange a time for you to come and get your items. But thank you all for those of you who donated and those of you who are bidding. We appreciate that, and your students are going to appreciate that. So this morning, this has been sort of a great week because you're not just hearing from me, you get to hear from everybody this week at different times. And this morning we have Brooks Medford, Shane O'Donnell, Doug Hollers, and Tassan Dover, who are going to do our coffee chat this morning. So I'm going to let them share their screen and get started. And I'm going to mute everybody. So if you have a question, just unmute yourself so that you can ask that question. Brooks and Shane and Doug and Taj, you need to unmute yourself once I mute you. All right. Brooks, you're on.
All right, everybody. Okay. All right, can everybody see my screen now?
Yeah.
They're all muted. So
You can see it though, Monica?
yes, I can see it. You're good.
All right, so today we are going to talk to you all about some of the college visits that we do. And I had put a little slide in here. Wait a minute, it's not letting me do it. I put a slide in here to remind me to not forget to record the section. But that's not needed. Could y'all hear my sound effect also? Whoa.
Yes.
It just skipped again and it wasn't supposed to. Y'all did hear the sound effect?
Yes.
I did. Okay. All right. So anyways, what I'm going to talk to you about first is our virtual college that we're doing this year. We have been scheduling them every about 2 or 3 weeks since the students came back to school. We have been doing those through Zoom, having college admissions office people come in and talk to students about the admissions process and what they need to do if they are interested in coming to that school. I think so far we've done one at UNC Charlotte, one at Appalachian State, one at North Carolina A&T. We give priority to these ones to our juniors, but since it's all virtual, we're not having to put kids on the bus. We have opened it up to let other students join in if they're interested.
We're having reverberation.
You're getting a lot of feedback.
Can't hear your sound. What's the feedback?
I think it's because they need to turn their volume down on their computers.
Is y'all's volume all the way down? Or do you still have feedback right now?
No, that's good.
It's going now?
Yeah. They should keep their volume down on their computers.
Okay. Awesome. You want me to start that over?
Yes, please.
Let's just pretend like we started fresh.
I've got the session. You're good.
All right. So the first thing that I'm going to talk to you all about is our virtual college visits that we're doing this year. Every 2 or 3 weeks, we have scheduled college visits, and we are having Zoom meetings with the college admissions office, and they're doing about a 25-minute talk with the students about the admissions process and about the things that they need to do if they're interested in coming to that college. So far this year, we've done one at UNC Charlotte, Appalachian State, and North Carolina A&T. We have one coming up on October 14th. UNC Charlotte, that's not UNC Charlotte. I should say Western Carolina, I'm sorry. Western Carolina is on October 14th. And then the week of November 2nd, we will be having one at UNC Wilmington. These visits, juniors have priority with coming to these visits, but because we are doing them virtually, we have let sophomores, freshmen, and seniors come to them if they have shown interest in them. Since we're not having to put kids on a bus, it's easier to allow those other kids to come in. So that's what we're doing right now with our virtual visits. That UNC Wilmington visit on the week of November 2nd will be our last one for the semester, because that's going to run us up into Thanksgiving break and then exams and Christmas break. So then we'll sort of reassess and replan what we're doing for our visits second semester. Now, in a typical year, when we're not restricted by COVID, what we would do on these college visits is we would go to one every month. We take them actually to the campus, and they have a brief meeting with the admissions office where they hear all that same information that we're getting in the Zoom now. They usually have student ambassadors that will give us a tour of the campus. We'll have lunch on campus, and just let them get a little bit of a feel for what it was like being on that college campus for the day. When we do those, we are much more strict on letting the juniors have priority, because we only have so many seats on a bus and that sort of thing. And we have to have, certain sizes for the tour groups. We provide all the food and transportation, and we typically limit the students to 2 visits per student. So they really have to be selective on which colleges it is they're wanting to go to. There is some room for exceptions to that, but we have that in there to make sure more students are able to go on these visits. And then next, Doug Holler is going to talk to you about the college road trip.
Good morning. College road trips usually around November, and we usually go to UNC Chapel Hill, North Carolina State, East Carolina University. We take the top 15 juniors from each school. It is an overnight trip where we stay in a hotel room, and food, travel, lodging is covered by McNair. And it's just something about those kids being on campus and those places. The only money that they will need is, like, we stop at a bookstore, they'll buy a t-shirt or something like that. But I've never seen any of the kids that I've been on a trip with buy anything at North Carolina State, but that's okay. But we usually stop also on the way, which is a fun thing, at Celebration Station or some Frankie's Fun Park or somewhere like that, and ride go-karts and eat and just hang out. I didn't get to ride the go-karts last time we went because there was a weight limit, but it's okay anyway. But we love being with these kids on these trips, just being able to watch them network and just get to know each other. And a lot of times that starts usually at the professional luncheon, but you'll see the same kids usually on the bus who are networking, get to know each other. And we all know that networking is very important. So it's a great trip. Next year, I think, Sarah, I'm pretty sure I heard her mention that we will give some seniors the opportunity to go that did not get to go this year. But we'll talk more about that later. If you got any questions, please just let us know. Brooks, you're muted.
I'm speaking now, Doug.
Okay,
so.
thank you.
There we go. Hey guys, I'm Shane O'Donnell. I'm going to talk to you about the HBCU road trip. Typically, and we've added a college here or there, but we typically have stayed with these colleges and university. As you can see on your screen, North Carolina A&T, North Carolina Central, Winston-Salem State, and Johnson C. Smith. Those are the ones I think that we've went to the most. It is a 2-day trip, so we're staying overnight, usually in, I guess, Greensboro area, and then we're hitting usually A&T, North Carolina A&T would be our last visit on that second day. So we are, it's open for juniors, just like much with the college road trip, just like Doug Hollers was talking about. It's typically in March. It has typically been. We just missed getting to take our trip this past year because of the pandemic. And just as we say, food, travel, and lodging are covered. For this trip, we take a tour bus. So it's not on a regular activity bus. So we take a tour bus. So it's a lot more comfortable, a lot more relaxed, a lot more air conditioned. It's a good trip to be on. We do much like the other college trips where the GPA needs to be 2.5 or higher. And then it's just students that are interested in attending an HBCU. Since we're not taking an activity bus and we're taking a tour bus, we have the 45 seats that we can take students. We can take a total of 45, and we want to make sure we fill that bus up. It just makes sense that if I'm at RS Central and I have 12 students where I might would look at least taking 15, and I only have 12 that are interested in it this year, then those extra 3 spots we're going to open up to Chase, or we're going to open up to East, just to make sure that we're getting as many students as possible on this campus so that they can experience it. Sometimes you get to know these kids, just obviously like you mentors get to know the kids over a couple of years. And if I find out that a student would be a first generation college student, that, I might catch them between classes and just make sure I mention that this is something that they may be interested in, that they may want to participate in. And because I know for me, I still remember the first time, and I'm 44, I still remember the first time I stepped foot on a college campus. And that's one of the reasons it felt special. And that's one of the reasons why eventually I go to college, if I'm telling my story. So sometimes we will hunt out certain students just to make sure that they know the opportunity is there, because they may not always listen to the announcements or read their announcements. So that is the HBCU road trip. Will you switch it? We also have one more college trip that we usually take with sophomore students. Now, these sophomore students are typically going to be top 15-ish of their class, because those are the students who are going to be the most eligible to go to the USC with the McNair scholarship. So when we take these sophomores on campus, again, this will be on a tour bus as well, because it's a long drive. It's actually the only school that we sponsor that we take students out of state. So we'll take them to the University of South Carolina, and they'll have an admissions talk with their honors college, because if they get the scholarship, that some of you may know, some of you that are new may not know, Robert McNair has a scholarship at the University of South Carolina, because that's where he went and graduated from. And the scholarship really promotes bringing students from other states to South Carolina. And so there's always been one of those scholarships that have, I guess, for the most part, been reserved for a Rutherford County student. So we want to take students there so that it can be more competitive and make sure that we're able to keep that scholarship maybe. So they will go talk to the honors college. They'll tour the campus, and again, food and travel, everything's going to be covered by the McNair Foundation for those students.
I'm going to jump in right there. We take sophomores on that trip. Most of our trips are for juniors, but that trip is to make sure that we're getting sophomores down there to learn about that scholarship, so that they can do the things they need to do and have time to do the things they need to do to be competitive for that scholarship, because they are looking at their ACT and SAT scores. Those have to be very competitive. I think they have to take an art, because that's one of their where we have UNC admissions requirements, they have, I guess, USC admissions requirements, and they have to have an art to be eligible. So there's some things they have to do that they need some time to make sure they get it done. So that's why we take sophomores on that trip. Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
Because I got the screen on the side. Do we have any questions for myself, for Brooks, or for Doug Hollers?
You'll have to unmute yourself if you have a question.
I have a question, and thanks for the presentation. I am new, so this is all new to me. But if you're taking the top 15 sophomores or juniors in the other case, then we really, we can encourage them to go, but we don't select them. That's something somebody else contacts them about. Is that correct?
For the college road trips, for both, or for the USC and for the college road trip to NC State, the school has given us the data for that. So those, if you know your student falls in the top of the class and you want to, mention it to them, you're absolutely. But the school will give us data on those 2 trips.
Okay, thank you.
The HBCUs and the monthly, right now it's bi-monthly, but the monthly trips are the ones that we really need you to encourage students to take advantage of. But there are some kids that when we ask them to go on one of these road trips, they're like, nah, I've got so-and-so to do, or I don't want to go out of town or whatever. So we do need help sometimes encouraging students, because it's a great opportunity for our students. And I will just say that since we've been doing these trips, we have seen increased attendance at these schools because they're not schools that a lot of kids get to go to, because these are further away, especially the road trips, the overnight trips. And so we have seen increased attendance at some of the more competitive schools. We've seen increased attendance at our HBCUs, and we've definitely seen increased attendance at the schools that we're doing the monthly visits to. So just getting kids on those college campuses makes a difference for them to aspire to college, but also to attend. You know, once they've been on the campuses, they're realizing which campuses fit, and fit is a big deal for their success. So if they're in a college that fits and meets what they like and what they want to do, we know they're going to be more successful.
I will say that the virtual visits that we are doing are much harder to get students to, obviously, just like everything else we're seeing, to respond to. So if you know a student is interested in college, if you just by mentioning, pay attention to email or their Canvas announcements, they can jump on one of those virtual visits. And if they see really quick that it's not for them, then they're more than welcome to log off just like they would anything else. So I know that we had was it A&T yesterday that we had our virtual visit, Brooks? Was it? I did text Katie, and she said there were 9 students throughout the 3 high schools that participated in that visit, where if we would have taken students on a college campus, typically we fill the bus. So we're just not getting the same participation with the virtual visits. And so maybe if they hear it from you as well, it'll help.
Shane, may I ask a question?
Please.
I know that, at least in my case, I don't know about the other mentors. I might know from report card information and so on that a mentee of mine is doing well, has excellent grades and so on. But even though I think it's on the transcript where they rank in their class, it's not something I typically look for. And so, and following up on an earlier question, in order for us to encourage a student to participate in something like that, I need reminding ahead of time, you know, Grady, this mentee is qualified to do such and such. Otherwise, I'll probably just blithely go over it and not even be aware of it.
Well, that's something I could, like I'm at RS Central now, so I could, and it may be more difficult with the virtual visits that we're doing, but I can always try to touch base with Arnett, especially once we get back on a regular schedule. And if I know that y'all are meeting, you know, this would be with the typical, not with the COVID visits, but when y'all would be back on campus, and if y'all were meeting with your students at the high school, then I can sit down with Arnett and I can just throw out some names to make sure that some students hear it from someone besides email or me stopping them in the hallway. I don't know that that helps that situation out at all, but I'm willing to try.
Shane, if I can add one other thing to that, the GPA requirement was to be the top 15. I think people might have thought that applied to all the college visits. That was just for the one that was for the USC Honors College visit and the UNC Chapel Hill visit. All of the other college visits, they don't have that top 15 requirement. So you don't have to know if your student ranks in the top 15. We want to encourage all of the students who are juniors to come by and talk about all of the college visits. And there's just that requirement of the top 15 in those 2 particular college visits, because those are the students who have the best chance of getting into those programs.
So if there are no more questions, I know Monica mentioned Taz Dover was helping us with this. He was a fall back in case we needed someone else. But I want to make sure I introduce him and let him say hey to you guys if possible.
Hello, can everybody hear me? Good. Okay. Well, just on behalf of myself, I want to say thank you to all 3, Mr. Shane, Mr. Hollers, and Mr. Brooks, for a great session today. I know this is not your typical retreat that we usually do, but we're going to make the best out of it. And this is my favorite part because we get to do door prizes and as well as bingo. So here are your winners for today's door prizes.
Let me just say, Taz is actually an ambassador, excuse me, an ambassador for UNC Charlotte. So he is the professional and does these does these college tours professionally. So we've actually had him help with some of the college visits, I think, and trying to get kids interested. So we've got an expert on here with us if you do have any other questions. But you're probably
Great photos on the door prizes. Great photos on the door prizes.
photos. All right, so I've got the door prizes. We have a Harold and Harold gift card, $25, and an Amazon gift card for $25. And so Leslie has written down all the names of the people who are on our coffee chat this morning, and I have them in the bucket. So I'm going to mix them up and draw a name. Maybe. Jackie Hampton. You will get a Amazon gift card. I think Jackie's been here every day this week, so that's great that she got the prize. Jackie's still on here? Let me make sure. Okay. She's muted, so she can't tell me she's on here. Link McDaniel. I know I saw her on here just a minute ago. You have a Harold and Harold gift card. All right. You guys can unmute yourselves if you would like.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excited.
We'll get those mailed to you guys. Are there any other questions? Oh, goodness. Before we get off of our coffee chat this morning. Questions, comments? All right. You should have gotten an email last night. It might have been a tad bit late because my brain is fried this week, and like I forget to record stuff, I forgot to send that message to the people that needed to send it out to you. So it was a little later last night than usual, but I'll make sure I'm gonna do yours for tomorrow in just a few minutes so that it's ready to go. But anyway, you have new sessions out today. If you haven't watched the sessions from the other days, they're still posted up. I think we'll leave them up for a while so everybody can have time to access those recordings. That's one of the beauties of doing things this way, is that you have access to recordings, so you don't have to attend the actual session. You can watch it whenever you want to. And then this session will go up, and because I did record it today, it will be added to the links for anybody who wants to watch the session that didn't join us, or if you want to rewatch it because it was so much fun. You may want to rewatch it just to hear the happy birthday rendition because it was definitely entertaining. All right. Well, happy birthday, Mark. I hope you have a great day. Congratulations to our door prize winners. Bingo will be coming out in 30 minutes. I think you guys have had a great time with bingo. And so we've had a fun time watching y'all come back in with your prizes and stuff. So anyway, bingo will come out in 30 minutes for your first calls, and they'll come out at 10, 11, and 12. And I think that's all. I hope you guys have a great day, and we will see you again tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.